Buddy looking a little bit messy, and as you can see his body condition is quite poorly at the moment. It's actually a lot better than it was. It's a very crazy windy day at the moment, 40km/h winds. Don't trip over the fence, darling. Come this way. Come on, let's go. That's it. Good job. Okay, and we've gone from Scours to almost normal poo, which is what he's doing now. And he's probably going back into his, what we call, intensive care area. It's actually meant to be a sunroom, but it's turning more into a intensive care area where we've got his little bedding. He's got a salt leak up there. Chickens are keeping him company. That's not their normal house. Their normal house is over there. They're at the interim teenage level. This is Mum. She hatched her chicks, and she's been looking after them and showing them all the tricks of being a chicken. And we've got our next younger ones over there in the wind, just protecting them from the wind. You can see Jessie, our kelpie, having a good look at them. And Buddy, our calf, who is fussing about what he's going to eat. He really likes these hay grass that we've been giving him, and he's been eating a lot more hay. This is ocean hay in the back there. He's got lucerne, he's got chaff, and sheep nuts, cattle nuts, you name it, everything, just to get his appetite going. We found that he eats a lot of scraps as well, which is really just to get his appetite going, because we're trying to get him off the milk. So yeah, I'll go and get some of that grass and show you. This was an accident. We had a veggie garden. This is our garden. You see that our corn's finished now and we have to replant our veggie patch. Bit of an accident. Hubby decided to put some straw down as part of the bedding as we were building up the soil. Something shot up. We thought it was French onions, but it actually is just hay grass, and I think, but Buddy really loves it. So let's take some over. Let's have a look where Buddy is. Do you want some more special grass? Your favourite grass? Here you go. It's much warmer in here, isn't it? Here you go. You want some? It's your favourite. Yeah, good job. Yeah. Some of these pop out. So, Buddy lost a lot of weight with all the Scours until we were able to stop it. Unfortunately, the vet was, in the beginning, not very helpful. They didn't give us the right treatments. He did have antibiotic injections, which seemed to help a little bit. He actually had 3 courses of that. Most farmers at this point, if that didn't help him after the first course and the usual treatments, probably would have just let him go. And in fact, that's what the vet said. But we're a homestead, we've got the time and the means to be able to help him, and we want him to be out for our Jersey girls so that we can keep our milk going just for our farm. And so we've put the time, the effort in. He's not actually still standing by himself, which is another reason he is living in here. He's got the run. Normally we have that orange fence up over there, which is just a chicken poultry fence, but today we're letting him have a bit of a roam to just improve his appetite and dancing. But yeah, normally we have to lift him. We're just trying to rebuild his fat and his muscle and his strength at the moment to help him get stronger so that he can stand himself by himself. But good news is he can stand and walk around. He doesn't seem to be as wobbly, but so he is building his strength. And we're just careful with the milk. We're not really giving him milk at the moment because the milk we found was giving him bloat and then Scours. So last night we gave him a little bit of milk just for bedtime, which I'll probably do again tonight. You can see he likes to have a variety of food where we try and offer him lucerne, hay, oaten. We've got the big round bales of oaten, and we're just trying to build his weight up he's doing well. So if you had seen him before, he was really shocking. Hello. Yeah. You're hungry, I know. And it's been a bit of an experiment for us with Scours because we didn't know what we were doing, being new to cows and poddy calves. And look, we've had a lot of really great support and information from the farm shops, but everybody's got a different opinion. It's kind of like beekeeping. Everyone has a different opinion. So we've kind of managed it on our own, and I know that farmers typically wouldn't have the time or energy or money to put in to poddy calves, but it's something that's been really important to us, and we really want to have our bull calf be well. So that's why we've been trying to help him. I'm going to show you some videos on some of the treatments that we did to try and help him, and I'll pop that into the video. It won't be me because we didn't film those bits, but I'll show you some of the videos that we used to train ourselves for things like putting the drips in and the injections. Most of the injections, when he had a bit more fat in the back of his thigh here, you can see it's really bony. Jerseys do look bony normally, but he's really bony because he's lost a lot of weight and muscle. But we've given him lots of injections like B12 and Selenium, which you can only usually give once every 3 months, or when a cow's really sick you can do it every 3 weeks if given advice on that. And the B12 really kept him going and energized him to get up and keep going, and we knew he wanted to live because he kept trying to get up. So he's been up now consistently on and off for the last week with our help for about anywhere from say 4 to 6 hours since, which is fantastic. But we're hoping that we can get him to a point where he's actually getting up completely himself on his own. So we bought a second-hand shelf, which is a kitchen dresser, because what we were finding is that there was a lot of animal medication and animal things like vitamins and that sort of thing that we needed to have on stock in our homestead. And this kitchen dresser, which this family did a really lovely job of doing it up again, is perfect. We did have all of our things in baskets, separate baskets for the bees and the chickens and the goats and the sheep and the cows, but this makes sense if you've got space. So as you can see, we've got all of our meds there, but we're trying to have a shelf for each animal. So this is our chickens, and you can see we've got a lot of things in there like our worming medication, potty antibiotics medication. This is if they get sick, which they have in the past when we first got them, but they're quite healthy now. But we do worm them every season and if needed. And their shell grit and their insect powder and things like that. You can get natural powder. And what we found with Buddy, our cow, he has been very sick because he came from a dairy at Casino in New South Wales, and he became very sick with Scours. He already had Scours, but we didn't really realise how sick he was and how hard it is to deal with a Scours calf, poddy calf. He also wasn't taking a bottle, so it's been a huge drama trying to help him out there. So this is some of our goat medication and also cows. We have B12 injections, vitamin C, we've got syringes, B12 and Selenium, Baycock's parasitic medication which can be used for chickens or cows. We've got some herbal worming and tonics there, and also our cow, which sort of moves on because the cow and goat stuff are intertwined. It's the goat milk powder. We've got colostrum, syntocin, which we thought we may have had to use with our dairy cow, which we didn't have to use, but that's for having a letdown. We didn't have to use it thankfully, but we've got it in stock. A dredge for cows, which is ivermectin, an iodine dipping solution, different teats for calves. We've got some Scours treatments in there, and we also have some natural pest spray and wound spray, saline, castor oil, which of course you can use for humans as well. This is a bloating mix I have used once. It's not very nice, it smells disgusting. This is our de-scour paste, which is a probiotic with natural ingredients like garlic and things like that in it. We do have a probiotic powder, but our calf didn't like it, so we didn't continue with that. And what we've been doing, we've found quite successful now with, we've started to wean him off the milk because he's about 3.5 months now, and he seems to have improved, but he was pretty bad, which I'll show you a video of him in a minute. This is a medication called Scourbound that's from the chemist, and it helps with Scours, and it does have a little bit of antibiotics in it, and it sort of plugs it up. In conjunction with this, what we found is most successful since he's improved and the Scours seems to have stopped is we're continuing this on for a little bit with the combination of the paste and the antibiotics, is to keep that up and going while he's weaning off milk and moving more into the hay and grass. He has improved a lot, but he still isn't able to get up himself. We've got some colostrum there, vitamin E, and some of our things that we use. So this is just a chicken drawer for our incubators and things. This is we've actually got a drip, which we did use with Buddy, our calf, and we weren't very successful at that because that wasn't very fun trying to put that in his neck. But we did get there in the end. We also did a syringe in his neck a couple of times to try and help him.
Calf specialist for the team, and today we're going to cover how to administer subcutaneous fluids. It's appropriate to administer subcutaneous fluids if the calf is somewhere between 5 and 8% dehydrated. Anything less than 5% oral rehydration is appropriate, and anything over 8% intravenous rehydration would be more appropriate. So if you're not sure of how to determine the level of dehydration in a calf, you can review our calf management tip video on evaluating dehydration. Supplies needed to administer subcutaneous fluids are a 16 gauge by 1 inch needle, an IV line set, and a bag of subcu fluids. Today we're choosing to use saline, but it's important to note that not all fluids are okay to administer subcutaneous, and not all fluids are okay to administer intravenous.
So we gave this with a 4-in-1 mineral hydration drip that you can get at any of your farm stores. We got ours from Norco. You can get them at Coastal Rural Traders and any of your other farm stores. We watched this video because it was really helpful for us, and there's quite a few helpful videos on here for some of the things that you might have to do if you have a potty calf, especially if your potty calf has Scours or is premature. So keep on watching, and this is what we did do, but ours did not go as well as this lady's.
It is important to consult your veterinarian to determine which fluids would be appropriate for you and your form of use. The first step in administering the subcutaneous fluids is to immobilize the calf to the best of your ability. I like to do this by backing them in a corner and securing their head and neck with my thighs. You can uncap your needle, make a tent with the skin, and place the needle gently into the skin, being careful not to administer it into the muscle. You know you're not in the muscle if you're still able to freely move the needle and it's not held taut. You may then uncrimp the fluids, elevate the bag, and allow them to flow into the calf. It is also important to note that you do not want to administer more than 200 cc's per injection site. When you pull the needle, you simply pinch the skin where the needle was in to avoid leaking. Some fluid will leak out of the skin as you move on. You can administer along the neck and along the rib cage to get the appropriate amount of fluid into the calf. We hope you...
Okay, Buddy. We're going to show you how we're going to lift up Buddy. He's not very happy because he can't get up himself. I've just been putting a rope before. We were putting a rope under both his shoulders and his back. Now we're going to put it just under his shoulders. And you see he's making the effort to actually get up himself. At the moment he's okay. Lift it. Some point he'll be too heavy. And he's up. There we go. Good job. Good job. Thank you. It's not too long. There you go. Good job. Good job, Ellie.